Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. This is your brother Quan Wathel, the Great Millstone Charlotte Camp, coming with a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. And just, this morning, just wanted to touch on the topic of Esau being chased out of the earth, man. Right? We watch it day by day, the exposure continuing on these Amalekites and on Edomites in general, right? And as a whole, right? They're being exposed for the devils that they truly are, man. Right? We see their true intents, in regards to their world domination, right? Them trying to continue this hegemony, taking it into that technocracy, right? So that they can control the masses, right? But all these nations you're starting to see, right, are bucking up against him, man, right? They're starting to set themselves in array against Babylon the Great, right? And ultimately that's going to go culminate in the nuclear missiles raining down upon this place, man, right? But what we're starting to see is people take a stand, right? The Davos meeting, right? We see the back and forth going on against these nations, with these nations against America, right? These nations calling out those Amalekites over there in Israel, right, for their war crimes, and then them pushing these different anti-Shem narratives and what's it called, the hate speech and things of that nature, man. Right? You can't. They're going after people who talk down on the Zionist enterprise, because that's ultimately what's happening is they're doing damage control, right? Now, as we read here in Job 18 and verse 18, it reads, "He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world." Right? So right now what we're seeing is Esau being chased out of the world. That world chased, meaning being put to flight, man. Right? He's on the run. Right? And then, like the scriptures say, he's a fugitive and a vagabond, man. Right? So right now he's being cornered, right, on all sides, and this is when he's gonna, show forth his last hurrah, man. Right? He's gonna, as we see Jacob's trouble, right, mounting, right, this is Esau's last chance to hold on to his kingdom, man. Right? So they're gonna be scratching and clawing to try to maintain it, man. Right? Let's go. Let's get this. This is Isaiah 47 and verse 15. It reads, and we'll read the NLT. It reads, "And all your friends, those with whom you've done business since childhood," right? Because, America was the standard, right, of the economy, right? And it still is. But now everyone's looking for a way out because they see this place, on the downturn, right? They're seeing the what's it called, imperialism, right, being being restarted, and they don't want any parts of it, man. Right? So like I said, all your friends, those of whom you've done business since childhood, will go their own ways, turning a deaf ear to your cries, right? So as they see, and these nations see Babylon the Great, imploding, man, right? They see the collapse from the inside out, and they're watching. They're just gonna watch, man. Nobody. Right? What they don't understand is that the the next rulership is gonna be, of Yasharallah, man. Right? Under Yahweh Shai, King David, the 144,000, right? That's the new governing body that's gonna be established in the earth. Right? That's what they're not counting on. But as these devils are being exposed continually, right, all these things being brought to light, everyone's looking at them in a different light, man. Right? what was once viewed as pure and something to aspire to, they see that it's ultimately death that brings forth or comes forth as a result of following after these devils, man. Right? When you read in Tobit, it talks about how lewdness is the mother of famine, man. Right? Going into how when you partake in these certain customs and practices, ultimately there's going to be a lack that ends as a result, man. And we're seeing that come to fruition, you know. Let's get this here in Obadiah. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 7 in the NLT. It reads, all your allies will turn against you, right? So everybody that was in lockstep with America, right? And ultimately, as the scriptures talk about how the least of the flocks they draw them out, right? These Amalekites are severing the relationship between America and the rest of the world. So now it's going to be America and Israel versus Russia, China, India, whoever you name it, man. Right? All these so-called superpowers, right? They're all gonna be right in on one accord, coming against America, man. Right? And again, that's them being chased out of the earth, man. Right? They have nowhere else to run to. Right? These Amalekites they're fighting out of the corner. America's about to be fighting out of the corner soon, man. Right? That's why you see exposure going out on all time levels, man. That's why we're being given an inside look of how these motherfuckers operate. In their secret councils. Right now, we don't get the full the full info, right? But the fact that we know these things are taking place, right, is just credence to how much closer we are, to their ultimate downfall, man. Right? Because now they're in scramble mode. It says they will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Right? So what was that whole WEF meeting about, man? Right? What was it? I think it was the year of discourse, right? Or pretty much having a dialogue. That's what it was. Them trying to push forward more dialogue. And the dialogue, is them promising peace, but we know in their heart of hearts and in the behind the scenes, they're all thinking of backdoor ways to come and facilitate the fall of the dollar, right? The replacement of America as the leading hegemony in the earth, right? They're all seeking this, man, right? Because America is the stronghold of wickedness, man, right? This is the place that has forwarded wickedness to a level that the earth has never seen before, man, right? And it's been used as such, because it ultimately was a tool by these elites, these banking families, right? Which go back to Amalek, man, right? Because Amalek is at the spearhead of it, It says, they will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you won't even know about it, right? So, like the scriptures say, they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. It's going to come as a surprise to the masses, right? Now, those who are in the know, and even these truthers, right? They're all seeing it coming. We're all anticipating it coming, right? But the vast majority of people can't see it, man. These government officials and people in high positions in politics and finance can't see it. So like it says, there's set traps for you, and you won't even know about it. So now those traps are being laid out, right? We're in a time where we're one event, from all global chaos, man, right? And it's all about this devil being ran out of power. All these nations want to see America out of the power. See, all these nations want to see these Israelis, these Amalekites, right, removed from influence, man. Right, they want AIPAC out of politics. They want the what do they call the ADL, right, out of the situation. They want the IDF, right, out of these different military occupations, right? And, we understand that Amalek has, wiggled his way into, global politics as a whole, right? So all these things, coming together, the elites are trying to facilitate, right, this one world order, but ultimately it's Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai putting these things in place for the downfall of this entire system, right? They want to just get America out of the way in order for them to be able to have a stronger foothold, man, a stronger grasp on humanity. But it's the will of the Lord that's getting everything out of the way so that he can establish our kingdom, in the earth, Let's get, let me see here. Let's get that in Genesis. Since I quoted it, this is Genesis chapter 4. We'll start in 11. It reads, Genesis 4:11, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. And that's what Esau has ultimately done, right? Coming in that same spirit as Cain, is that he's shed blood throughout the earth, right? Revelation tells us, right, that he was, given that red horse, right? He's that red horse that was given that sword, to take peace from the earth, man, right? It says, when thou tillest the ground, and shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. And that's another sign of him being chased out of the earth, man, right? Is that he has to go and circumvent existence, right? To try to maintain his society, man, right? When things are in their proper order, the earth flourishes. But when Esau is in rulership, like as the scriptures tell you, the people mourn, man, right? The earth is mourning, right? Because it's underneath a wicked ruler. And that's just, more and more signs of that Job 9:24, man, right? The earth being given into the hand of the wicked. We're seeing, day by day who the wicked is, man, right? And everybody is starting to see who the wicked is. It's becoming public knowledge. That's why, they're trying to, push for more censorship. That's why they're pushing for more social media control and things of that nature, man, because they want to, try to reverse the narrative or control the narrative of because it's coming out who the wicked truly are, man. It says, a fugitive and vagabond shalt thou be in the earth, right? So this is Amalek, this is Esau, right? That fugitive, that vagabond, these banking families, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Gettys, right? All these people in these upper echelons of Edomite society, right? The ones that you never see, right? They're vagabonds, they're fugitives, right? Throughout the earth. There's a reason why we don't see them, because they're wanted in the spirit, man, right? And now they're being chased, right? Everybody is running after them to point the finger, starting with the prophets, right, of who this man truly is, man, right? When the scriptures talk about, we shall go into the gates of the nobles. They're seeing these videos, man. They're seeing us bring out, their wicked enterprises, right? And then pushing forward all these agendas in order to destroy humanity, right? So they're seeing it, and they're being cut, right? They're trying to find a way to get this word out of the earth, man, right? That's why the scriptures say, and we'll close with this. Revelation 12:17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Right. So the dragon, right, this Edomite hegemony is wroth with who? The Israelites, man. Right. And they're planning and they're already at war, right? Taking steps to try to remove the testimony of Yahweh Shai, man. To remove the prophets, to remove the exposure, right? Because they're on the run. They've always been on the run. That's why when you read in Job, it says that there shall be no quietness in their belly, roughly paraphrasing, man. Right? Because they're always looking over their shoulder, and now things are starting to intensify, man. So again, man, Esau is being chased out of the earth, right? The world is turning against him, and now he's gonna, his brother's going to the Samson option, right? He's prepared to scorch the earth, man, right, in order to save himself, But, Lord willing, that was an edifying lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. I want to close by giving our praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. A Kwame Yasharala and the Baba Ball. Shalom.